Hey guys, welcome, welcome. My name is Valentine Lister, and this is my Major Arcana series. And today we are going to go over the Emperor card, and we're going in deep. We're going to learn all about the secret symbolism, including the numerology, the astrology, the astrological associations, as well as the upright meanings and the reversed meanings. So by the end of this video, you're going to know a whole heck of a lot about the Emperor card. All right, the Emperor card. So I have three different versions of the Emperor. This guy sitting here, and here's a tree. So what is this all about? In the middle, we have the Rider-Waite version, which is the most popular version of the Rider-Waite. Now, tarot is an old card game from the 1400s. And so there's been many versions, but the most popular one was created by Pamela Colman Smith. She's the artist, and it was published by Rider and Waite. So this is the version that most people are most familiar with. And then on the right here, we have a version from the Light Seers deck. This is the deck that I started with. I really recommend it if you're a beginner. It's so easy to relate to the images and understand what the cards mean. And then on the left here, we have a version from the Way Home Tarot. And I love this because this was created by Bakara Whitner and her friend, who I should remember the name of, but I don't. But she wrote a book called WTF Tarot, and this is her version of the tarot cards. And I really love and cherish the book that she wrote. So if you're interested in that book or any of these tarot card decks, I put links in the description below so you can find out more about them. Okay, so we're going to start with the numerology. Remember that all the symbols in the card speak to the meaning of the card and what it's trying to tell you. So these things are good to know. All right, so you'll see that with the Emperor, it's represented by the number 4. And 4s represent foundations. They represent a square, putting things into a structure, work, action, struggle, conflict, toil, law, and order. Also like the 4 elements and the 4 seasons. And a little hint here for later with the astrology is that the square in astrology is representing the nature of Mars, which represents all of these things: conflict, toil, action, struggle, things along those lines. All right, so the secret symbolism here, most of it's in the Rider-Waite deck, so I'm going to start with that. So you see some ram's head here, and they're emblems of Mars. So he's the god of war. And also there is a ram's head, I believe, on his left shoulder, which is all bloody and red. Hey. All right, so in his right side, in his right hand, the right hand is considered the active male side, and he's holding an ankh. Now the ankh is an Egyptian symbol of life, and it's a symbol of Venus. So Venus and Mars have a special relationship. They're connected with each other. And then in his left hand, which is the receptive side, that's the female side, that is the globe of dominion. And so this represents the power of love is the only true power ruling over spirit and matter. And so this card speaks to active masculine energy. It's power over the physical world. But it also represents that spirit drives matter, and that there is this need for balance between the masculine and the feminine to conquer anything, to take action, to manifest anything. But it also creates conflict as well, because this card represents conflict. All right, so let's go over to the Light Seers variation. So we can see on his arm, cool. We have the ankh here again, which is a tattoo on his arm. And then we have the ram's head skull sitting on his wall. Talk about conquer, you know, he's got like an animal on his wall. It's very masculine, male, violent. All right, so he's sitting on the sun, and the sun represents the soul, rulership, leaving a legacy, kings, leaders. And he's on a chessboard, and he's holding a king chess piece. And you'll notice on a chessboard, there's squares, right? And it also represents strategy and planning. And then over here on the left, in the Way Home variation, we have the version, it's an interpretation. We have the logic here represented in the brain, planning, strategizing, taking action, logical action. And we have a fir tree rooted in that brain. And so we have the roots here underneath, and the roots and the fir tree represent things that are solid and long lasting. If you have any fir trees around you, they last a really, really, really long time, and they don't really need much care to them. And if you know better about trees, let me know if I'm wrong, but that's the impression that I get from them, not really being a tree expert, perhaps. So this card is it's highlighting the logic and analytical thinking of the Emperor and like the divine masculine. Okay, so in this series, as you know, I'm pointing out colors. Colors are super important in their meaning, and these colors, also relate to stained glass windows. If you see them, it's going to relate. So the colors there. So we have a lot of red here, and that represents desire, passion, vitality, and courage. Super important in the Emperor card. And then we have these yellows and oranges, a lot of yellow and orange. Yellow represents creativity, optimism, enthusiasm, and orange represents warmth, energy, activity, drive, and confidence. This is a confident guy here. This is not somebody who's like, oh, I don't know. All right. And then we have gray here, mainly in the Rider-Waite version. And the gray represents wisdom. So it's the representing of black and white. And I guess you could kind of see that in the chessboard, like a regular chessboard, a lot of times has like black and white here. So you might see that. And you'll notice this guy has brown shoes too. And that means grounding, like a grounding, rooted energy as well. Okay, and so no real surprise here. This card represents the zodiac sign of Aries, but that's not to be mistaken for the god Aries. This is representing like the zodiac sign of Aries versus Mars, which we'll see later on in the tarot deck, so stay tuned for that. Okay, and I'm going along with the nicknames that I have for the cards. I made nicknames for the cards to remember them, and this one is Conquer and Destroy. And so if you saw my video on the easiest way to learn the major arcana, you know why I called this card that, and I really recommend you guys check out the video. I will link a card up here in the right, and I'll put it down in the description because I link all of the major arcana cards in a story in that video. And that's because it's really important to understand that the major arcana is a story. Like each card, one after the other, is telling a progression of a story. And it's talking about the progression of the story of the soul through the life. And it's also just talking about also the story of all of the major life events that happen throughout our lives and how it really represents spirituality and how every major thing, everything that happens in our life is spiritual. So the major arcana talks about like all of the major events, while the minor arcana talks more about all of like the everyday little things that happen. Okay, moving on to the upright meaning. So upright meaning of this card represents like making power moves or planning out a strategy to succeed, to be dominant, to create tangible results in some area of life. It represents leadership, mental activity, authority, to rule, and it represents results, action, productivity. So an example like of what this card could mean would mean like a promotion at work, leading a new project, planning to get married, taking over the planning of a family holiday, becoming an influencer, becoming a CEO, or political work. Okay, so the reverse meaning, if it's reversed, it means it's coming out upside down like this. If you're brand spanking new to cards, you don't know what reversals means. It means the card comes out upside down. Some people read them, some people don't. Like Bakara Whitner does not read reversals. But a lot of readers that I've seen on YouTube besides that, they do read reversals. I read reversals. I like them. So it's really up to you. But if you do read reversals, a big major way to understand them is that the energy is there, but it's being blocked or avoided. You're not letting it come through. You're not comfortable with the energy for some reason, or the person's not comfortable. And so if it does come out reversed, it means that there's like a hesitance to take control. There's a pressure. You're feeling like pressure, right? You don't want this energy to come through. So you're feeling pressure to accept responsibility you don't want. Feeling a lack of confidence, feeling like you can't handle new responsibilities. So for an example, like you might hesitate to accept a promotion. You might be wanting to turn down a proposal. You might feel like an experience related to a new role that gives you authority. There could be a loss of a job or a role that gave you power, or there could be struggling to organize a project you're in charge of. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video about the Emperor. And this is a reminder that if you want to catch all the videos in this Major Arcana series, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified for when I release videos on this. Also, if you're watching this video way into the future after I've finished this series, don't worry. I have linked a Major Arcana playlist in the end screen, as well as related videos on the Major Arcana, so you can catch them there. All right, love you guys. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. If you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified for whenever I release a new video every single week.